Well, hello. My name is Jessica. Welcome to English on Fire. Today we're going to talk about a very important sound in the English language, the TH sound, or th. All right, let's get to it. When we talk about the TH sound in English, I don't think a lot of people realize how important the sound is. The problem is that a lot of people around the world in their particular languages don't like to show listeners their tongues. Because in the TH sound, you have to stick your tongue out of your mouth. It literally sticks out between your teeth into something some people like to call a tongue sandwich. Tooth, tongue, tooth. And you bite. But that's not the only part, because you have to stick your tongue out, but then you also have to blow air. And sometimes if a speaker that I'm working with finally will stick their tongue out of their mouth, then I have the problem of getting them to blow air too. I think it's funny because I think in a lot of cultures, especially parents, work with young kids to tell them not to stick their tongues out and not to like spit at people like. But in English, you have to do it to make this sound correctly and clearly. We're going to start with the voiceless version of this sound. Now, the TH sound does come in two versions, the voiceless and the voiced. The voiceless just means that you don't use your voice, and the voiced means that you do. So it would be like the difference between the TH you hear in tooth and the TH you hear in those. You can hear th, th. But we'll talk about more of that in just a moment. Let's back up. All right, the voiceless sound of TH in English. What you have to do is you stick your tongue out between your teeth. You'll know it's enough if you bite and you feel it. Ah! You should actually feel it. So you stick your tongue out. But that's not enough. Then you have to stick it out and blow air. And this is what's tricky, is because some people don't like to actually move air around their tongue. It feels impolite. So what I recommend people do is to take a piece of paper. You can fold it a couple of times so you get a couple of different ridges and you can really see if it'll move. And we're gonna get some visual feedback as to whether you are blowing enough air or not. So I stick it in front of my mouth, I stick my tongue out, and I bite. Ah! And then you should see the paper moving. If you don't see the paper move, either you're holding it incorrectly, as I did a moment ago, or you are just not blowing enough air. So I recommend, if you are just starting with this sound, use those two feedback tools of the teeth and the paper to blow the air, so that you have both of those parts working at the same time. Now, back to the voiced version. Now, it's the same way that we make it. We bite the tongue, we blow the air, but now we need to add the voice, the third component. And to tell the difference between a voiced or voiceless sound is to put your hand to your throat and feel the buzz. Your larynx should buzz. You can hum to yourself. You can feel it all throughout. It should be very buzzy. All right, now to voice the sound, we stick our tongue out and we go. And I recommend to start slightly aggressively, and that way you can, if you go a little bit too far, it's easier to walk yourself back and be less aggressive with the sound than it is to get started with it. And then you can use the paper too. Put it in front of your mouth and get some feedback. I recommend really feeling your face and feeling your throat. If you hold it for a while, which I recommend you do to kind of practice with this sound, you can start to feel like really relaxed and zenned out. Oh, hey. Oh, what was I doing? Oh, that's right. We were talking about the TH sound. All right. So now that you have an idea of how to make the voiced and voiceless version of this sound, let's put it into practice. And the best way I like to put it into practice is to compare the sound against itself. So first of all, the versus but then also throw in some of those sounds, they're called minimal pairs, where the sound is like a near sound, but not quite. So a lot of people will, if they cannot make the TH sound, say the sound, because it's the lip and the teeth. They're halfway there, right? So instead of mouth, I'll get mouth, or maybe a s. Some people go with this because their tongue hasn't made it far enough out. So instead of mouth, I hear mouth. It's almost like a st. So what I'm going to do now is give you a couple of different lists to practice with me. And I recommend that you practice this with a recorder so you can hear yourself, and possibly even reading to like a Google Doc with the voice to type option on and see what it hears from you. Okay, let's get to it. Let's start small, and then we will get more complex. If you're looking for an easy list of minimal pairs, which are words that alternate sounds, and you would like to practice with what I'm about to do, go ahead and download the PDF file from my website. You can find the link below at englishonfire.us. All right, so I'm going to say a word, and you can repeat after me. And then you will practice alternating back and forth. Basically, we're building awareness, like what sound am I actually producing, and what is my tongue doing? Am I biting my tongue? Am I getting enough air out? And over time, as you practice and you build awareness and you listen back, you will build muscle memory, and then you won't have to think about it anymore. It will just naturally occur. I will say, when we practice this, I highly recommend practicing with a recorder. So you're going to want to, with your phone, record yourself so that you can hear yourself say what I say and see if it matches to your ear. I also like to use the voice to type option on a Google Doc because it's so easy to even just do it on my phone. I know there are a million different ways to utilize this now, but sometimes simple is best. Just something to where you read to it, it types out what you say without too much autocorrect, so you can actually see what a listener is hearing. All right, so I'm going to say some words and you repeat after me. This list, by the way, compares the F sound and the voiceless TH, because that's the most common mistake that I hear. All right, here we go. Free, 3. Deaf, death. Thought, thought. Fin, thin. First, thirst. And I like to do that in rounds. So I would do that list, back it up, back the video up, do it again with me, and make sure that you're taking your time, being nice and slow so that your tongue can get used to this new position. And so you can actually think about what you're saying and how you're saying it. Also a tip, most speakers that are coming into English speak much faster in their native language, so they think they need to speak really quickly. That is not the case for English. Many of us speak naturally a little bit slower than a typical tempo elsewhere. All right, round 2. Are you ready? Here we go. Fresh, thresh, freeze, threes, fro, throw, froze, throws, frill, thrill, fret, threat. And that one has a lot of R in it too, that follows. And a lot of people have problems with R's. We practiced it once, rewind, go back, do it again. Now, maybe your problem isn't so much the F sound with the TH, but maybe it's the S. So now we're going to practice the S sound versus, again, the voiceless TH. Here we go. Mouse, mouth, sing, thing, face, faith, force, fourth, sick, thick. That was round 1. Nice and slow, nice and easy. Now rewind and do it again. Round 2. Sink, think, mass, math, miss, myth, pass, path, saw, saw. Feeling zen? I know I am. All right, once we practice going back and forth a bit between the treble sounds, I then will like to do a couple of sentences that throw in the treble sounds. So one sentence could be, and you can follow me, the thief tried to find the key. The thief tried to find the key. Or, she froze her thumb in the freezer. She froze her thumb in the freezer. And those are just a couple of examples of how to do this. If you would like more guidance on the TH sound and more practice sentences or minimal pair lists, again, you can find my website at englishonfire.us or linked down below. And as I add videos, you'll find more that you can work with and more practice that you can do on your own at home. However, I do believe, because language is for communication, it is meant for other people. If you would like to actually work with another person, I am available. You can make an appointment with me through englishonfire.us or linked below. You may also join the LinguaLuxe Society. This is a group of people who like to get together and really challenge themselves with their language ability, not just pushing themselves in the world of grammar and vocabulary, but also in the world of thought. They want to talk about bigger things than what they ordered at a restaurant yesterday. And they'd maybe like to discuss a topic they've never thought about talking about, like art history, philosophy, car mechanics. I don't know. The topics range, and I'm always taking suggestions. So the LinguaLuxe Society is another option to get together with, language learners, near native, whatever. If you want to stretch your language abilities, that might be for you. You can always message me if you have any questions about that and would like to sign up. Please be sure to like and subscribe, as they always say. And thank you so much for being with me. I hope that you will join me on my journey and making this channel bigger as I add new features, get better at this entire thing, make the sound maybe a little less echoey, make the light maybe a little less lighty. I don't know. But I hope you will join me in the future. And I cannot wait to communicate with you further. Take care.